atmosphere. If you like what you're hearing, you'll love the adult...
Everywhere, every day. Sign up for free right now. BMO. We're here to help. Visit BMO.com for details.
If you want wear and tear on his arm, yes, it does matter. And he throws harder than James Shields does.
Listen, if you can get Jeff Samardzija, great. But if James Shields is out there, he's out there. None of these things. Right, if James Shields is out there and he cleared waivers yesterday, it makes all the sense in the world moving forward to do this, whether you've got a long view or a short-term view. To go out and get a guy like James Shields to be a number 2 guy instead of saying we need a number 5 guy. Go get a number 2. You have maybe the best 5th starter in baseball in Marco Estrada. He has been outstanding. You've got 2 other innings eaters in Burley and Dickey, who have been nothing short of spectacular in the last month to 2 months. You've got maybe the best left-handed starter in baseball in David Price. You tell me you're not going to upgrade with one of them, and top 2, top 3. You're telling me you'd rather go out and get a guy that might be able to you know, you can plug into the lineup, or do you want to go get a bona fide number 2?
You guys are in love with the name.
No, I'm not.
Because he's so familiar to the division.
James Shields. Exactly. James Shields is a tremendous baseball player. He's an excellent pitcher,
But not at that ticket. Not at that ticket.
But you just have bad contracts with, you know, nobody liked Burley's deal and Reyes' deal. So there's always going to be a couple bad contracts. I think it's an interesting point, especially because of the depth. You know, what does Alex do? What happens if Price gets injured? You know, what happens if Dickey goes down? Can you imagine going into the playoffs with Price, Shields, Dickey, Burley? The stride. I like to dream. I think it's far-fetched.
Now's the time to dream.
But here's the thing. Well, number one, it's easier to acquire guys through trade than it is. I mean, you can say you throw money at Samardzija, but how many great free agents have signed in Toronto? Not many over the years, right?
And can I ask you a question?
But who's left to deal is the other question, right? That's the thing.
He's in like 363 and 22 games. Let me ask you guys a question.
Trade everybody.
No, I know you can't. Let me ask you a question. If you're talking about 2 to 3 years from now in a bad contract, I don't give a crap about next year. I don't care about next year. Hang on. I don't care about the year after that. I don't care about 10 years from now. I don't care. You know why? Because what is in front of us now is the most important part of baseball. We're playing very, very meaningful games. We're 3 games up in the wild card, the second wild card, 2.5 up on the first wild card against the Angels and the Baltimore Orioles. We're a game and a half back at the Yankees. Yankees are in town this Friday. I don't care about next year. You know what I care about? I care about Oakland tonight over the next 3 days. I care about the Yankees Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I care about winning the division and getting into the postseason. And if James Shields is taking on a bad contract now and figuring it out later, that's what I care about. And I bet you if you pulled 100 Blue Jays fans, 98 of them would say the same thing. You as a fan can't take a GM's perspective into what they need to do to shore up their rotation. Because Drew Hutchison, I'm sorry, an ERA of 9 on the road, I'm pretty sure they play playoff games on the road. I'm pretty sure. And he is a huge question mark. So if you're going to soak up $2.5 million this year and figure out the rest as you go, fine by me. And I bet you if you poll every single fan that wants to see the Blue Jays make the postseason, they will all say the same thing, save a couple of armchair general managers.
2 points to that, 3 points. Number one, who cares what the fans want? Because Alex Anthopoulos, no, nobody cares. Alex Anthopoulos could care less what the fans want, and that's how we should operate.
Are you smoking? Are you smoking?
Who cares what? And the fans wanted him to make blockbuster moves last season, and what did he do?
What, he got Josh Donald?
He didn't do anything in the off season. Yeah, but at the trade deadline last year, all the fans were screaming, and they didn't do anything. And you know why the Blue Jays were able to make all these moves, teams?
Because
they had flexibility.
Right. But hold it. They've got 2 guys. This is what I don't know if I mentioned it. Burley's not on the books and Price is not on the books. Nothing is guaranteed.
Why take on $20 million of a guy who isn't diminishing access?
Because in the offseason you can get rid of the guy. You can flip James Shields. Someone's going to want James Shields next year.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely.
Why didn't anybody pick him up on waivers or trade for him now? The Yankees lose Michael Pineda. Captain Crunch Sabathia has had a terrible year, and they don't go out and grab James Shields?
I'll flip him.
They won't. Why do you want that money? Alex has done all of this is because he's been smart and not tying the hands of the Blue Jays. Don't tie your hands.
719, still 719.
You're both kind of right, kind of wrong.
But George, I would say 70% more wrong than me right now. Let's ask someone who knows what he's talking about. Michael Granger, Sportsnet Memphis. Sorry, Michael, you had to hear that.
Oh, that's fine. That's how the arguments in my house go. You could have got 80% more right than you.
Yeah, but we're not like 7.
Well, neither am I. I mean, we're all 7 in heartbeat. All 7 in heartbeat.
Hey, thanks for doing this. Settle it for us. If Jays can get James Shields, do they do it?
Like non-waiver, like non money?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd go with that. All right. It would have to go for waivers. Yeah, no, I understand a lot of things of that.
Yeah, so I'm right now, and you own $60 million. That doesn't matter. That's down the road. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Thanks for doing this. You wrote a great article on Tristan Thompson. Can you tell us what's going on? Because apparently might not be available as it sits today to play for Canada during the FIBA Americas.
He will not. That's official now.
De facto.
His agent told me that yesterday, and then Team Canada announced it later. He hasn't been able to reach a contract with Cleveland, and if you're not under contract, you can't be insured, and obviously you try to get a $100 million contract or a $90 million contract, you want to be insured. So I think Team Canada knew this was a possibility all along, and there was some hopes that he'd reach an agreement by now, but he hasn't. It looks like he won't.
So what's the, they tried to give a qualifying offer of 52, he wanted 94, and what was the Cavaliers' justification for saying, no, you're only worth about $10.5 million?
Well, just to back up a little bit, last year he was offered an extension for $13 million a year for 4 years. He turned that down. He played, and then that extension would have kicked in this year. By turning down that extension, he made himself a restricted free agent this year. And typically, those negotiations don't go, as you know from hockey and everything else, when you're a restricted free agent, you really don't have that much bargaining power. The difference this year, Dean, is, as we talked about before, is next season, the NBA's new TV contract kicks in. And so there's going to be billions and billions of dollars coming into the league new. And so Tristan Thompson is in a position where if he accepts a qualifying offer, which is a 1-year deal for about $7 million this year, he would be an unrestricted free agent next season in a year when at least 20 teams would be able to bring in a max player, including the Toronto Raptors, and he would have, and they would be that max contract, because the salary cap is going to jump from about $70 million this year to $90 million the year after, and $110 million the year after that. That max contract, which is tied to a percentage of the salary cap, would be much more lucrative if he signed it a year from now than if he were to get, say, a $90 million contract from the cap this year.
A lot of guys are doing that this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk of that. So typically,